The snow had fallen heavily the night before, burying the edge of Red Hollow, Montana, beneath a thick white silence. The air was brittle, sharp with ice and the scent of pine, and the sun, just beginning to rise, barely pierced the iron-cold clouds. It was early January, the kind of morning when even the wind seemed too frozen to howl. At the town's northern outskirts, past the rusted railroad tracks and the broken fencing of what was once a logging supply yard, stood an abandoned warehouse. Its red bricks flaked under years of neglect, windows shattered or boarded with warped plywood, and a half-collapsed chain-link fence warned trespassers with faded, rusted signs. Through this ghostly landscape moved a figure that didn't belong, a German shepherd, ribs stark beneath a patchy coat, padding with cautious determination. His name, once etched on a lost collar, was Ranger, though the world hadn't called him anything in over a year. About 7 years old, he had been a search and rescue dog, trained to find lost hikers or survivors in rubble. His coat, now caked with snow, had once gleamed black and tan. A small notch scarred his right ear from a rockfall during a drill years ago. His amber eyes, alert and ringed with memory, still held the discipline of the soldier he used to be. But it wasn't war that broke him, it was loss. Ranger's handler, Officer Sarah Grady, had been his world, a tall, sharp-eyed woman with sunbrowned skin and a voice like gravel softened by kindness. She was his partner, his home. 2 years ago, she died in an apartment fire, trapped during an evacuation gone wrong. Ranger had tried to pull her from the burning beams until his paws bled, but the fire claimed her. When the department took him in, something inside him refused to stay. One night, he slipped into the woods and vanished. Now, living off scraps and instinct, Ranger was a stray ghost on the outskirts of Red Hollow. But that morning, something stirred him. A sound, a low, weak whimper, human and desperate, carried on the frozen air. He stopped, head cocked, ears twitching. It came again, muffled by wood and snow, from the warehouse. Ranger's nose worked furiously, catching the scent of blood, sweat, and fear. He crept toward the building, paws silent in the snow, until he found a crack in a basement window, barely wide enough to breathe through. Pressing his snout against the frosted glass, his warm breath fogged it slightly. Inside, under a flickering bulb strung from a frayed wire, was a scene that rooted him in place. A man sat tied to a chair in the center of a concrete room. His head drooped, a black cloth wrapped tightly around his eyes. His wrists were bound with rough cord, knuckles scraped and bleeding. His uniform shirt, muddy and torn, marked him as Deputy Cole Harris. Red Hollow had plastered his photo across every pole and shop window for 3 days. Ranger didn't read the words, but he understood urgency. The man's scent carried pain, but also strength, a steadiness Ranger recognized, like Sarah's. Cole stirred, a faint moan escaping his lips. Ranger growled softly, not menace, but instinct. Cole's head shot up. "Who's there?" he rasped, voice rough with thirst. "Please, help me." Ranger scratched at the glass, but it didn't budge. Cole froze, hearing the sound. "Dog," he whispered. "Is that a dog?" Something shifted in Ranger. Old training clicked into place. This wasn't just a man in pain, this was a mission. He pawed harder, but the window held. The scent of blood and mildew curled in his nostrils. He couldn't get in, not yet. But he could return. Footsteps echoed above. Ranger backed away, melting into the shadows as the captor approached. Several blocks away, Lisa Bennett stepped out of Bennett Animal Clinic, a small metal building with chipping blue paint. 28, pale-skinned, with strawberry blonde curls in a loose bun, Lisa had a calm warmth shadowed by guarded eyes, baggage from years tending animals others gave up on. She carried a dish of kibble and a thermos cap of water, placing them on a cement slab behind the clinic. "Come on, soldier," she murmured, whistling softly. To her surprise, the German shepherd approached, limping slightly, eyes wary but fixed on her. "You look like hell," she said gently, squatting low. Ranger didn't eat. Instead, he dropped a mud-crusted shoe at her feet. Lisa froze. The leather bore a silver star and pine tree emblem, Red Hollow Police Department issue. Blood stained the heel. Her heart pounded. Ranger took 2 steps back, eyes steady, then turned and vanished into the snow. Lisa grabbed her phone, dialing with trembling fingers. "Red Hollow PD, this is dispatch," came the drawl. "This is Lisa Bennett from the vet clinic," she said, breath short. "I found a police boot. There's blood on it. A dog brought it to me." Within 20 minutes, Sheriff Mason Briggs arrived, shaking snow from his brown coat. 62, with a lined face and short white beard, he was known for long pauses and black coffee. He examined the boot. "You said a dog brought this?" Lisa nodded. German shepherd, male, malnourished, scar on his right ear, limping. He was focused, like he had a mission. Briggs turned the boot over. "This is Cole's size. His name's inside." He looked up. "Where'd the dog go?" Lisa pointed north toward the tree-line and old lumberyard. Briggs exhaled. That place is dead ground. Haven't patrolled it in years. Lisa's voice was quiet but firm. I think that dog wants you to follow him. That afternoon, the Red Hollow PD's back office buzzed. Officer Dean Stokes, late 40s, stocky, with a permanent scowl, jabbed a map. This is the warehouse compound. 3 buildings, partially collapsed, no leases. Last patrol was 2 years ago. Sergeant Claire Durham, 34, lean, with close-cropped hair, flipped through forensics photos. If someone's holding Cole, that's the only place off heat maps and traffic cams. Briggs entered, holding the boot in an evidence bag. Brought by a stray this morning. Belongs to Cole. Dog went west from Lisa's clinic, same direction as the lumberyard. Stokes frowned. A stray's our lead? Briggs met his eyes. It's more than we had yesterday. Claire nodded. We work with it. Quiet search, dawn tomorrow. That night, Lisa stood behind the clinic, snow crunching under her boots. She left a dish of warmed stew and a wool glove. Where are you, boy? She whispered. Far off, amber eyes blinked in the dark, then vanished. Back at the warehouse, Cole tensed as footsteps approached. The bulb flickered. Ranger, hidden in the shadows, growled low. Cole whispered, You came back. I knew you would. The footsteps stopped. The captor didn't enter. Outside, a storm built. The cold seeped through the warehouse's concrete walls, an invisible tide chilling the bones. Cole Harris slumped in the chair, ropes biting his raw wrists. The blindfold, now slack around his neck, had been gnawed through by Ranger, who sat alert before him. Cole's eyes adjusted to the dim bulb's flicker, burning with the sudden light. The German shepherd's amber gaze held steady, heavy with memory. Cole forgot his pain for a moment, struck by the dog's presence. Thank you, he whispered, voice hoarse. Ranger tilted his head, then moved with urgency, barking sharply toward the door. The sound echoed. Cole's heart leapt. You calling for help? Smart boy. Ranger barked again, louder, as if summoning the world. At the Red Hollow PD, Lisa stood in the tech room, holding a manila folder. Sergeant Claire Durham scanned it. This is everything I had on a dog matching your stray, Lisa said. Black and tan shepherd, 7 years old, trained, left ear scar, hip imbalance. Name was Ranger, treated him years ago. Claire nodded. He was Sarah Grady's K9. Disappeared after her funeral. Officer Matt Reyes, 26, wiry with glasses, pulled up a drone feed. Motion sensor caught a shepherd-sized shape near the lumberyard's basement vent, carrying a boot. Claire leaned in. That's Cole's. The dog found him first. Lisa's chest tightened. Then don't waste time. In the warehouse, Ranger crouched as footsteps echoed above. Cole whispered, That's him, isn't it? Ranger's hackles rose, confirming it. The door's latch scraped, then stopped. The captor retreated. Ranger returned to Cole's side, nose brushing his bound hands. Cole smiled faintly. You're not just any stray. You picked me. Wind screamed against the warehouse's rusted siding as evening faded. Snow swirled across the loading docks. Inside, Ray Morton, late 50s, heavy-set with a scarred jaw, entered with a flashlight and tray. His eyes, deep-set and unreadable, scanned Cole. You sleeping, deputy? He sneered, setting the tray down. I've been generous, haven't I? Cole stayed silent. Ray leaned closer. You always smiled on patrol, like you were better than us. Now look who's tied. Ranger, hidden behind a shelving unit, trembled with restraint, eyes locked on Ray's box cutter. Ray circled, muttering about justice and forgotten men. Ranger crept along the wall, silent. Outside, 2 SUVs idled beyond the fence. Sheriff Briggs watched a drone's thermal feed, showing a large figure entering the basement. That's him, he said. Claire, in tactical gear, nodded. We go on your mark. Ray turned, spotting Ranger. You again, he growled, reaching for the box cutter. Ranger barked, loud and commanding. Voices shouted outside, police. Hands up. Ray grabbed Cole's collar, but Ranger leapt, striking his chest, disarming him. The box cutter clattered away. The door slammed open, flashlight slicing through. Claire's voice cut like steel, freeze. Briggs and Deputy Aaron Leach rushed in, untying Cole. We got you, Deputy, Leach said. Cole blinked. The dog brought you. Ranger stood over Ray, who lay limp. Briggs murmured, good boy. In the hospital, antiseptic mingled with sterile light. Cole stirred under a thin blanket, for lines in his arm. Briggs and Claire entered. Ray's in custody, Briggs said. Mentioned a man in a white van, someone who bought you. Cole frowned. He said I was a replacement. For his daughter, Jessica. Claire nodded. She died 3 years ago. He's not stable, but he's not the mastermind. Cole's eyes drifted. And the dog? Briggs shook his head. Gone. Bolted to the woods. Cole leaned back. He remembered who he was. At Lisa's cabin, she knelt by a blood-stained fleece pad, scrubbing it reverently. Ranger had rested there 2 nights before. Danny Farrelline, her neighbor, brought tea. "Where's the dog now?" he asked. Lisa's voice was soft. "Out there, healing, waiting." At the station, Ray sat in the interview room, staring blankly. Claire pressed him. "Who brought the deputy to you?" Ray whispered. "He said he could fix it." "Give me another Jessica. Said strays are the best ones." Claire stiffened. Briggs, watching through the mirror, turned to Reyes. "Get a photo line up on missing children, Tri-County area." That night, Ranger moved through the forest, stopping on a ridge above Red Hollow. He lay on a flat stone, eyes on the town's soft glow, then closed them. His mission was done, for now. Morning light burned frost from Red Hollow's rooftops. At the sheriff's office, Agent Mike Hanley stood by a map. Ray wasn't alone, Claire said, pointing to a burner phone signal near a decommissioned scout camp. Hanley nodded. Confirmed van sighting there 3 nights ago. Fake ID. Behind the clinic, Lisa pinned scented flannel scraps to trees, mapping Ranger's trail. Danny placed a tin of chicken. "You're talking like he's a ranger for real," he teased. Lisa didn't look up. "He is." At the tree lean, Ranger appeared, leaner but steady. Lisa knelt. "Ranger," she whispered. He ran to her, collapsing into her arms. At the station, Ranger sat in the conference room, alert. Reyes confirmed his microchip, K9RG17, Sarah Grady's partner. Lisa, beside him, said, "I want to keep him for now." Briggs nodded. "Done, but he's our lead." That evening, Cole visited Lisa's cabin. Ranger stirred by the fireplace, resting his head against Cole's chest. Lisa watched, eyes warm. "He remembers," she said. Cole nodded. "Maybe he's here to finish what Sarah started." Sunlight glowed over Red Hollow as Hanley briefed the team. "Handoffs today, Cold Pines Camp." Ranger led the tactical team through the snow, Cole close behind. At a clearing, a white van sat under a collapsed structure. Ranger barked sharply at the rear door, a warning. Hanley signaled. The team surged, disarming 2 men. Inside the van, 2 children, zip-tied and pale, clung to Ranger as he lay between them. News helicopters circled, footage showing Ranger guiding the children out. Back in town, Lisa arrived with dog blankets. Briggs thanked her formally. "You fed a soldier," he said. That weekend, Red Hollow gathered behind the station. Cole knelt, affixing a K9 collar tag to Ranger, Red Hollow Sentinel. The crowd applauded. Lisa wiped her cheek, whispering, "That's my boy." Months later, Ranger patrolled with Cole, his vest gleaming. Lisa's Second Chance project trained strays, with Ranger as its face. Kids called him the Sentinel, leaving treats by the station. Sometimes, God sends heroes with fur and 4 paws. Ranger, once lost, found his path, saving others and himself. His story reminds us no soul is beyond redemption. Your kindness might be someone's miracle. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope. Comment Amen below if you believe every soul, human or animal, deserves a second chance. Subscribe to K9 Miracle Stories for more tales of grace, courage, and silent guardians. What act of loyalty or redemption has changed your life? Share it in the comments, and may it inspire others as Ranger has inspired us.